Hi, welcome to my other show. My name is Susan Rushton, and this is Muse. This is the show on which I'm privileged to, I'm thrilled to, I'm honored to talk to people who are visited by the Muse, the creative people, in other words. Today, my guest is a representative of one of my favorite Auburn organizations, the Auburn Symphony. And before I go any further, I need to tell you that the Auburn Symphony has a website, auburnsymphony.com. Their office is at 985 Lincoln Way, Suite 102 in the State Theater building. If they have a phone number, 530-823-6683, and they are in the office Tuesday through Friday, 9 o'clock to 2 p.m., 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Again, this is the Auburn Symphony, auburnsymphony.com, a wonderful Auburn organization. And the person I have this time talking about the Auburn Symphony is the substitute principal second violinist, Rachana, Jonnalagadda. Welcome, Rachana. Welcome, Rachana. I'm really thrilled to meet you, thrilled to see you, thrilled that you play for the symphony.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you're welcome. Now, where do you live?
I live in Roseville.
Okay. And so, do you go to school?
Yeah, I'm a senior in high school right now.
In which high school?
I go to Oakmont High School.
Okay. Now, how long have you been playing for the Auburn Symphony?
I've been playing for the Auburn Symphony. This is my third year playing for them.
Third year?
Yeah.
Okay. And that means, how long have you been principal for the principal second violinist? Substitute principal.
This is my second year being substitute principal, okay. I believe.
Why? You are 17?
Yeah.
Okay. And you've been playing for the symphony for 4 years? 3 years?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you get so good?
I honestly don't know. Like, my audition last year, I thought I did really badly, but because I was like really nervous and I thought I messed a lot of things up, but Peter was talking to me after and he said that I did well because I was auditioning for first violin actually. And then
I'm sorry, you were auditioning for what?
For first violin.
Okay.
And then about a week before the first rehearsal of the season, Peter called me and asked me if I'd rather be in first violin or if I'd rather be substitute principal of second violin. So I guess here we are.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what is the difference for those of us who don't know the difference between first and second violin? What does that mean?
So first and second violin, they're just different. Each section plays different parts of music. The first violinists typically tend to get more of the melody and more difficult music in terms of rhythm and high notes. But second violinists tend to get more of the harmony, and when we do get the melody, it's usually in a lower register than the first violins play it in. But I find that more interesting than just being in the first violin section because I really like hearing all the cool harmonies.
Yes. I'm a fan of harmony. I'm a real fan. I grew up in a musical household, and my father said that when he was growing up, learning how to sing, he would try to sing harmony, and his family said, "Oh, Bob, sing the notes." But harmony is just lovely. It adds so much. So, how did you find out about the symphony?
I've known about it for a long time because the youth orchestra I used to be in, the Placer County Youth Orchestra. The conductor of that orchestra is actually in the Auburn Symphony. Yeah. So that's how I first how I came to know about it. And then it always had been a goal of mine to try to audition and get in, although I never expected that I'd be able to get in. So
how did you learn How did you learn about the violin? How long have you been playing?
I've been playing the violin for 12 years. I started when I was 5 years old.
Why?
Because my brother started playing the violin before me, and I'd always like watch him, and I just wanted to play the violin because
I can do that too.
Yeah, that's basically what I thought.
Okay.
So you like inspired me to start playing the violin.
All right.
Yeah.
So I see you brought your violin. I think it would be really cool to hear some you noodle around. I would love to hear that. So can we see that? Make sure that happens.
Of course.
Good. Okay.
So here's a couple of measures of some Bach that I learned a little while ago. Just a little bit of Bach, and then there's another piece I really like. It's called Cantabile et Bolero. I'm blanking on the composer's name, but here's a few measures from like the very beginning. This is a little slower, and like I really like this piece.
Well, thank you. That was lovely. Fascinating. Two different kinds of pieces. Yeah. Bach, and the other guy was later.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. I'm
okay.
completely
That's
blanking
okay.
right now.
There are lots of them, and you'll get used to it. So, this is a beautiful instrument.
Thank you.
How long have you had this violin?
I've had this violin since the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many violins have you had?
This one's the first one that's like actually been like mine. Like I'm the only one who's used it. But before this, like I used my brother's old student violin, and then before that, when I was like still like growing, I'd use my teacher's like small violins.
But this is yours.
Yeah.
This is yours.
All mine.
Do you have a name for it? Have you named it?
I don't have a name for it because there's too many different things I like about my violin. I don't think I can contain all of those in just one name.
All right. What do you like a lot about it?
One thing I really like is just like the spacing of the fingerboard, because this one feels a lot more natural to me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how to explain it, but like the other violin, the spacing was slightly different. It was like slightly further apart.
You had to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a difference between playing music automatically. No, but you don't play music automatically.
You don't.
One would like to, I imagine, and not have to think about where your fingers go.
Yeah, because once you play with an instrument long enough, like your fingers learn where the notes are, but you don't really notice a difference until you switch to another instrument and you're like, oh, I like the spacing of this slightly better, or I like the sound a little bit better. And another thing I like about this violin more is the sound, because it's a little brighter than my other violin, like it resonates a little more, and it has like a deeper tone quality to it, so I can get more like a deeper sound out of it a little bit.
Better harmonies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Before we started taping, you tuned your violin and you did something with this little thing down here.
Yeah.
And could you hold up the violin and I think aim it at that camera? And what is this for?
This part?
Yes. No, the little
brown thing.
This thing.
Oh, what this does is it's called a fine tuner, and by twisting it left or right, you can slightly adjust the sound of the E string.
Only the E string.
Yeah, because the other three strings don't have fine tuners.
Okay. Do all violins have that?
Yeah, so all violins have this little tailpiece.
Yeah.
Which but not all violins have the fine tuners, because it's common for them to have the one on the E string, but some of them don't, because it just depends on how comfortable you are tuning with the pegs of the violin.
All right.
And that usually tends to occur like once you're a little more advanced when you play. Mm-hmm. But until then, you usually just use the fine tuners.
Okay. All right. Where did you get that violin?
I got this violin from Ifshins. It's a shop in, I believe, El Camino,
Okay.
which is near Berkeley.
Yeah.
So
All right. Yeah. Did you tested several?
I did test several. They were all J. Hyde violins, which is, I think, Ifshin's special brand of violin. And this was one of either the second or the third violin I tested. And I knew, like, this would make it to, like, the finals, the top 2 or 3 violins I really liked.
Uh-huh.
And after testing them, there was, like, 2 I really liked. There was this one and another one. So I took them home to, like, practice with and play around with for a little bit so I could figure out which one I liked better. And I guess I like this one better.
Wow. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, you can put this beautiful violin back in your case. Wow. And you've kept you started violin because your brother was playing the violin.
Yeah.
But that part is past. Why do you keep playing the violin?
It's kind of selfish, but I play the violin for me sometimes because it's just kind of nice to not need to think about anything other than, like, the music you're creating. And, I mean, if other people are able to listen to it, that's cool too, but sometimes it's just nice to be able to, like, create something beautiful. And though I don't really have that much time to practice anymore now, I play sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. And some of my friends and I have had this battle with the idea of selfishness being bad. Selfishness, if you do something for pleasure, I think that's fabulous. I call it selfish, but other people might call it selfless. But I love the idea of doing something to make beautiful something or other. I love that, and I appreciate it. So, what do you like about playing with the Auburn Symphony?
It's just, I really like the atmosphere because even though I'm one of the youngest people there, everyone's really friendly and I can have, like, a conversation with anyone. But also that is just, like, the approach to music, because it's not, like, super, super serious, like maybe like you'd find in a super professional orchestra. But it's just a place where you can make music with others. And the conductor, Peter Jaffe, he's a really cool guy and he really cares about the music and he's really passionate about it, and that kind of gets transferred over to the orchestra members too. Yeah. So it's just everyone there's passionate about music and you can tell. So we all try our best.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. And it's obvious that everybody is really friendly and you can be enthusiastic. And the Peter Jaffe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. He's a really eager guy.
He is. He's really friendly and he's really funny and he's really approachable.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Where do you play other places?
No, I used to play in a youth orchestra, but I ended up getting myself into too many like volunteering things.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I had to drop something, so I was really sad about it, but I had to leave my orchestra.
Okay.
But I stayed in Auburn.
Good. What are your plans after you graduate high school? Do you want to stay with music?
I want to continue playing if possible. I'm not sure I'd want to get a major in music, maybe possibly minor, but I know that I'd like to join an orchestra or a chamber group and keep playing.
Okay. What is the difference between playing for an audience and playing and the rehearsals? I understand that they're rehearsals, but does it feel different?
To me it doesn't, because after a while the music kind of it feels weird, because you know the music really well and you know you can play it well, and each time you play it you're trying to play it to the best of your ability. And I've ended up performing so many times that having an audience there does nothing to make me like not perform at my best, I think. So it doesn't feel different to me.
Do you like playing for an audience?
It depends. Sometimes not. Because I usually like orchestral playing, like I like performing, but when I'm a soloist or like everyone's like playing for like a small group of people, it feels a little bit different because I'm not with a group of people.
Okay. Under what circumstances do you play for small groups of people?
Sometimes at my house, if you have like family gatherings or little dinner parties, I'll perform like little show pieces or like
cool.
little small pieces.
Like, what's a showpiece?
I define it as like a little small piece that's that has like a really defined melody and isn't like overly complicated. It's easy to listen to, so not like Prokofiev or Shostakovich, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like a light, simple piece that's fun to listen to.
All right. Do you take lessons now?
I do not take lessons anymore.
Okay. And does that mean that you don't need to, or?
Oh no, I definitely need to take lessons. It's just on top of school and all my other activities, I wasn't able to practice the amount I needed to. So I wasn't being fair to my teacher, and I wasn't and I was putting a lot of stress on myself because I didn't have the time to practice.
That'll do it.
Yeah, but
okay.
Hopefully I plan to take lessons at some point in the future, just not sure when.
As a person who is you are in high school.
Yeah.
You are in this. Granted, it's an amateur orchestra, but I consider them professional. What do you think a teacher could teach you that you don't know?
Okay, the Auburn Symphony is a semi-professional orchestra, and in terms of teaching, definitely like a lot of musicality. There's a lot of holes in my technique that I need help with, but I don't have time to like actually practice. And it's like a lot of just like little intricate little details that annoy me, and I know I need to get better at them. Okay.
Yeah. Why do you think music is important?
I think music is important because it's a way of bringing people together, because music is universal, and groups of people from all over the world can come together to play something, or can just come together to listen to like a song. Even if they don't understand the lyrics, they'll be like, oh, I like the tune, and they'll start like dancing or singing. And I think it's just the power of music to bring people together like that. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've seen concerts where people who have not met before, but who may have heard of each other, perform together without even verbalizing. They know what they're doing. They know what to expect. They're all professionals, or at least they all know that they're great at what they do. Yeah, and I'm impressed that you recognize that there are some quirks in your playing, even though you are playing with the Auburn Symphony. You have quirks that you think that you are convinced need correction, but clearly your standards are high for yourself, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I really do. What advice do you have for beginning musicians?
Just don't give up. Just keep going, because it's not going to sound good at first. It takes practice, but just the more you play, the more you don't give up, the more you practice, the better it'll be in the long run, because you'll build a really good foundation, and then you'll start building all these techniques that you really need, and you'll start like sounding good the more you practice and the more you familiarize yourself with the violin.
When you say techniques, what do you mean?
There's a lot of techniques, like with the way you hold your bow. There's a lot of different ways you can hold your bow, and it really just depends on the person, or like how a teacher teaches them to hold a bow. And then with your left hand, the hand that's like playing all the notes, there's a lot of technique in like how you put your fingers down on the violin, like the fingerboard, like how you press the string down, like your vibrato, and also like how you shift all over the fingerboard to like higher positions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have some? I won't ask you your favorite musician. Composer. I won't do that. But do you have some favorites?
I do have some favorites.
Who are they?
In terms of like composers that are in past periods, like I really like Shostakovich. I really like Tchaikovsky. Dvorak is is another one I really like. And then just like more modern composers, like in the whole like film score industry, I'm really into that. So I like Hans Zimmer, John Williams, Danny Elfman.
Well, you're supposed to like John Williams.
You can't not like John Williams.
How can you not like John Williams? Yeah, yeah, yes. What do you like about Shostakovich?
I like how his music is so different in the sense that it's not the easiest to listen to because I don't know how to explain it. It's just it speaks to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you play any other instruments?
I played the viola for a little bit just because when I was in my youth orchestra I needed to play it for a musical, but I don't really play it anymore.
Do you have a viola?
I do have a viola.
How many? So you have a couple of violin. Your family has a couple of violins in the closet.
Yeah,
and,
literally.
And the viola in your closet is in your closet. Do you have any others in the house?
I mean, we have a keyboard under some bed somewhere that no one ever uses.
Yeah.
It's just gathering dust, but apart from that, no.
Yes. My father, I ended up with all my father's instruments, his double bell euphonium and his saxophone and his trumpet and his trombone. Those use up space. What happens when you make a mistake? What happens in your head, or do you make mistakes?
Oh, I definitely make mistakes. Lots of them. Usually what happens when I make a mistake, like if I'm practicing by myself at home, I'll figure out why I'm making that mistake, and then I will like practice that one section of music over and over until like I don't make that mistake anymore, and hopefully not in the future. So I like put a star next to that part of music in the piece, and then I come back to it and make sure I don't make that mistake. But like in orchestra, when I make a mistake, my first instinct is to grab a pencil.
Okay.
And be like, don't do that, or that note should be sharper, or should sound... Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay. You sound very professional, patient with yourself. Am I incorrect about this?
No, I like to think I'm patient with myself. It took a little bit of practice, but...
Yes. Yeah. I have talked to many musicians, and they all say, yes, you're going to make I am going to make a mistake, and I know that. But the situation is, what do you do when you make a mistake? You can't stop. Right? Because for one thing, there are all these people around you and people listening, and there's all this music coming up. You can't dwell on it. And that's a great lesson as far as I'm concerned, because, if you acknowledge that sooner or later you're going to make a mistake, but don't dwell on it and keep going. Because that's life. People make mistakes in life. I am talking to Rachana, Jonnalagadda, who is violinist for the Auburn Symphony. She's substitute principal second violinist. She's the one who's in the group with all the harmonies. Auburn Symphony has a website, auburnsymphony.com. It's a fabulous organization. And if you want to learn more about them, please go log on to that website. And if you want to buy tickets, 985 Lincoln Way, Suite 102. That's one way to buy tickets. The other way is online. But give them a call, 530-823-6683, and drop by Tuesday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2. What advice do you have for listeners?
Like regarding music?
Yes.
Just keep listening to music. Always try to experience new genres of music, because there's so much music in the world, and so much of it is not what you expect. And it's just, I think it's really good to just to expose yourself to as many different types of music as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Do you have favorite composers?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have favorite types of, what are some of your favorite other types of music other than classical?
I'm really into rock and metal.
Rock and metal, okay.
Yeah.
And do you listen to it as much as you want to, as you'd like?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of different types of music. Rock and metal are two of my favorites genres. But
okay, and there are people in your house who don't like rock and metal as much as you do.
Oh yeah. For sure.
Now, where is your brother now?
My brother is living in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he playing music?
Not currently, but he plans to in the near future.
Okay. Good. All right. Well, Rachana, I have really enjoyed talking with you. Thank you very much for joining me, and I have looked for you from the balcony of the Placer High Auditorium when you've been playing. That's why I sit up there, so I can see what people are doing. And not just hear the music. I get to watch the performers. I think that's just thrilling. And I'm impressed by what you're doing, and I'm gratified, and I congratulate you.
Thank you so much.
Good job. All right. Thank you very much for joining me, and please log on to auburnsymphony.com and learn more if this is all of a sudden to you. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Susan Rushton.